Welcome to Louisville, Kentucky. We have just a few more malls before Kentucky is exhausted. Let's get the endgame started with the Jefferson Mall, a classic mall that may be alive but might face problems in the next few years. Under the guidance of Richard E. Jacobs, Jefferson Mall would open its doors for the first time in August 1978 and was a behemoth at just under 1 million square feet of total space. With original anchors Sears, JCPenney, and Stewart Dry Goods, the mall already had strong offerings from the south side of Louisville and would even gain a Shillito's just a year later in October 1979. Jefferson Mall's grand opening was host to a wide array of events, from appearances by a dog known as the Littlest Hobo, a magic show hosted by a man named Jim Moody, to a hosting of the morning show with Kate Underwood and Norm Lewis. And the mall even hosted a performance by the Royal Palace Circus for its first-year anniversary. Even though the mall was facing direct competition from the older established mall at St. Matthews and the Oxmoor Center, it was far enough south of Louisville to carve out its own niche and coexist with the other two malls. Jefferson Mall's tenant roster remained strong over the years, but two anchors would change along the way. Stewart's would undergo a merger with Ellis Ayers, and this would result in their Jefferson Mall location closing. Ben Snyder's was set to open in its place at first, but a lawsuit by the nearby Indian River Square Shopping Center shot down this plan, leaving the space vacant until Dillard's eyed the space in 1993. Dillard's would proceed to open in August 1995 in that space. Meanwhile, Shillito's would get acquired and vored by Lazarus in 1986. Aside from the nameplate change, Lazarus would continue operations all the way into 2005 before Macy's was established as the dominant retail name in the merged portfolios of Federated Department Stores and the May Company. Though low-key, it's more fun to implicate Macy's as a dominant predator. While all this was happening, Jefferson Mall began to lag behind, even though it was far. I didn't get yelled at, asked to leave, and was only asked one question about it. The kiosk did sucker me in for a while, though. Let's get back on track. Alright, where were we? Oh yeah, that's right. While all that was happening, Jefferson Mall began to lag behind. Even though it was far enough away from its competition to host its own audience, Jefferson Mall suffered from a lack of updates, with the only major addition happening being a food court in 1999. Additionally, the Courier-Journal would refer to the mall as overlooked, as the mall would sell in 2000. The new owner of Jefferson Mall would be CBL & Associates. CBL would address the lack of updates with a cosmetic overhaul of the mall interior and entrances in 2003. As of the making of this video, CBL & Associates still owns the Jefferson Mall. Once again, It seemed things were going just fine for Jefferson Mall, as things went quiet for quite a while. But then in 2017, Macy's announced it would be closing its Jefferson Mall location in an effort to downsize its overall footprint. Seems eating all those nameplates up wasn't a good idea after all, huh? And then in 2018, surprise surprise, Sears would close up shop. These issues were addressed at least, with the former Macy's getting filled in by a Round 1 entertainment center. Meanwhile, Sears got a less glamorous replacement in the form of a furniture outlet store. Jefferson Mall is still alive, and appears to be doing just fine as an underdog to St. Matthews and Oxmoor Center. However, as we enter a worsening economic crisis with no floor in sight, I have to wonder which mall in Louisville is going to go down next. Perhaps Louisville has stabilized for now, but its mall situation still remains an interesting one, with 2 of its 3 regional malls being within less than a mile of each other. But those 2 are stories for another day. Much to the chagrin of the cynical who almost seem to demand the deaths of malls, Jefferson Mall still has a place in the region for the time being. All of its anchor pads are occupied to some degree. JCPenney and Dillard's are your traditional anchors, and you even have a few decent junior anchors, from the old Joann and Ross Dress for Less to H&M and Old Navy. To say it's a dead mall is wishful thinking on your part. But with all that in mind, this mall isn't perfect. Vulnerabilities are showing in the inlines. It's not terrible, and could even be addressed with some creative thinking, like non-traditional tenants. But with that in mind, I do believe it's worth keeping an eye on this mall in the future. One thing I do hope gets addressed quickly is the aggressiveness of the kiosks. That one place with the Dead Sea stuff, that's the second time I've actually been suckered into one of those things, and there's debate on whether or not that stuff is legit or a fraud. But regardless, I'm stuck with it. I may as well try to use that stuff and make myself look slightly less like a mutant. Now, keep in mind, I have little need for this stuff. Aside from washing my hair and body and keeping my hair down, I don't care much about my appearance. That's why I look like a basic bitch, and in my limited experience, I don't do well dealing with men who do spend a lot of time on their appearance. Now, I would like to talk more about this mall, as well as Louisville itself, but we are coming up to the end of this walkthrough. I want to thank you for joining me in the Jefferson Mall. What did you think about this place? Did you love it? Hate it? Do you feel my pain on the kiosk situation? Do share in the comments down below. And stick around and subscribe. We do have 3 more malls in Louisville to see, one of which is an obscure micro mall. I think you want to see that, don't you? Thanks for having me, South Louisville, Kentucky. And until next time, this is Doomie Grunt wishing you and the Jefferson Mall farewell and good luck in this mad, mad, mad world.
Bye.